Wonderful.
And I was so glad, and going back to TV, I went in the children's library department thinking that all the children watched TV and didn't read, but you know they do still read.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the greatest pleasure to be sitting behind the desk and the children come in and say, "Oh, Ms. Powell, I read the best book. Let me tell you what I read." It was the greatest feeling in the world.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And you still love a library. Florence has a magnificent, the
Oh,
Dr.
have you
Bruce and Lee
seen?
Foundation.
Yes.
We have filmed there. Yeah.
Oh, have you?
Absolutely.
Oh.
In the beautiful Florence Public Library.
Yes, yes.
What is it about a library that still tickles your fancy, Ann?
I don't know. Well, it's the books. It's
Yeah.
the books. It's just the reading the books, you know. I know that's what it is.
Now, do you have a lot of books at home, or do you normally just go to the library for your books?
Well, no, actually, I have right many at home,
You do?
and people, friends give me books,
Is that right?
and
love
so
books.
and I should go to the library more because it's just close by.
Right.
But I do, but
Yeah, sure.
I just love to read,
Are librarians still getting as passionate as they used to be? Or is library science still a passionate field? Is that something?
You know, I think so, but I don't want to say. I don't know.
Because
I know
of the web and TV and other things.
Yes,
that
and
distract
I
people.
doubt that I could work in one now with all of that because I'd be so distracted with trying
The
to
internet,
figure
yeah.
with figuring all of that. You know that just that hand to hand and that stamping those books and when
Yeah.
they were due, you know, and telling the
Oh,
children
yeah.
about it.
So with the librarian living in y'all's home while you were growing up in Marion, that really spurred your interest
It
in
really
things? It wasn't your
was.
parents who said, "Ann, get out of here, go to the library"?
No, you see, I was the last of 5 children, and
wow.
and mother was quite old when I was born,
Right.
and so I think she thought with my maid aunt, old maid aunt, we didn't call her old maid, but maiden aunt, my father's living with us. She thought that I'd be taken care of, which I was, you know. And the librarian was Nellie Ellaby, and a long time ago they dressed like a librarian. They had a black velvet band around their neck.
Is that right?
She wore every day, you know, and she just and then my cousin Eloise McLucas worked in the line, and you know you just wanted to be there. And do you know that in 37, 38, a film crew came and filmed the Marion.
In the late 30s.
Yes,
Film crew
and
came
they
filmed.
called and said for me to come to the library right away. And I put on my little new coat and went, and they filmed me in the library. And
Ann, we ought to track down those records. I'm surprised Pete Sealer hasn't tracked those down yet.
Well, you know, I don't
You may get it on eBay.
Yeah.
Ann in the library.
And in the library.
That sounds like a good book title, too. Ann in the library.
Yeah.
That
So,
is fascinating, Ann. And you still love the PD and share with us real quick. We got about 7 or 8 minutes. What about the ceremony this Saturday? You said 11 a.m.
Yes.
Where do viewers want to come?
They want to come to Mount Hope Cemetery.
Mount Hope Cemetery.
The Confederate
This is in
monument.
Florence?
Yes.
Mount Hope
now
Cemetery.
they will have other ceremonies
Around the state.
Around the state.
Right. Now,
And the big one is the first Saturday in May in Columbia.
this past Saturday. Okay. Right. In
And
Columbia.
so that's why we tried to move around, but we still wanted to be as close to May the 10th as we could.
Right.
And it's right at 11 o'clock, and I tell people that we start on time, and it's not more than an hour, and we have a speaker, and then you'd be surprised at the number of Confederate veterans buried in Mount Hope.
Oh, boy.
And the sons always help us, and they put a flag at each grave.
Is
The
there
Sons of the
United
Confederacy.
Sons of the Confederacy as well?
Yeah,
right.
the Sons.
Right.
And they decorate the graves with a flag. And so we have that day set aside. We place a wreath at the monument there.
Right.
But I'm sure there'll be something in Dillon, maybe in Hartsville,
Oh, yeah.
maybe Conway.
Probably so.
There's
Sure,
a chapter.
Sure.
There
And
are.
there is one in Marion as well?
No, I can't. Now there's a monument, a
Okay,
beautiful
sure,
monument
sure.
that I used to play around.
Right.
But there's no chapter. The closest chapter is Dillon.
Right.
And before, I think I gave you the numbers. They're around, maybe 125,000 members.
Is that right
And-
currently?
And well, we don't know. I haven't gotten an
Right,
update on
sure,
that, but
sure.
somewhere
And
along.
you've got some young members you share. with
Yes,
us, right?
and I had a call last night that there were 12 young women that wanted to join the chapter in Dillon.
Is that in Dillon alone?
Yeah, and
Wow.
I was always, I could not believe it. And I don't think that it's not that people don't want to join and bring up the, but they're so busy with their, and they have to make choices. They have to make choices.
Oh, yeah.
And as everybody said, I know what Ann's choice was, you know. I just chose to work with that.
But you have to have some lineage down
oh,
to be
yeah,
able to
yeah,
join.
you have
It's
to
very
prove
particular.
it.
You
Yeah,
can't
you
be
have
just
to
a
prove
friend
it.
of the
That's
family.
what, yeah,
It
yeah.
has to have a proven lineage.
Yeah, you have to
a
have
member
the
of
document
Confederacy.
that shows.
Right,
Yes,
right.
yes.
How exciting for you, Ann. Is there anything else that really keeps your passion? Obviously, the love of the library, the love of books.
The love of books.
The love of the UDC.
Yes, and I love gardening. I love
the garden.
And I wouldn't say I'm a bird watcher, but I do watch a lot of birds. Before your time in Myrtle Beach, there was an Ocean Forest Hotel.
There was, yes. That
And,
was before my time.
My family and I worked down at Merle's Inlet that summer they were to tear it down.
Wow.
And we came every single day, and we bought everything we could from the Ocean Forest Hotel.
Is that
And
right?
I have 3 windows out of the ballroom.
I'm going to tell Jack Thompson that. You know, the photographer who took the photos that last day.
I have 3 windows out of the ballroom. And so they're huge. They had to be adjusted for my audition. But it's a grand place to watch the birds.
Wow.
And
yeah.
there's usually, at Merle's Inlet, we used to see a painted bunting all the time.
That's your audition in Merle's Inlet. So you're home in
No,
Merle's Inlet.
no.
Those. Oh, in
Florence.
In Florence. Oh, boy. So Jack will have to travel.
Yeah, he'll have to come all that way up to the PD. And it's a grand place. I have the best bird show in town because the windows are so large.
Yeah.
You know, you can see, so I keep them feeded.
What are
But
some
I
of the
love the
other things
outdoors.
you
I love
bought
that.
from before they closed down?
Oh,
Do you
we
remember?
bought tables, we bought chairs, we bought deck chairs, we bought pewter chandelier I have.
Wow.
And, you know, we just kept going. And finally, the young man from Atlanta that was head of the demolition part, he said, you know, Ms. Powell, we can't just keep on and on and on. We've got to do it one of these days. And I said, well, I don't want to be here. Yeah. And it was perfectly beautiful. You know, Greg, today, if the Ocean Forest Hotel was still here, and so now like the man investing in the Hard Rock
Park,
there would be investors, and it was built at the wrong time, it struggled at the wrong time, and it really tried, but it was mad. It would be another Greenbrier, another homestead.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. Have you seen pictures of it?
Oh yeah, from Jack Thompson, absolutely. Before and after.
it just was the saddest thing. But it you know, it hung on for a while. But my older sisters would come down to dances, and then we would ride over from the inlet, and we would hear the bands, you know, playing, and see who would come in and out. And I went to several conventions, library conventions there.
But the day for about how many years? Do you have any idea?
Oh, from 30 to that was...
Not to put you on the spot, and obviously we're not here to talk about the Ocean Forest Hotel, but when you say about it in the light of a Greenbrier or a homestead, when you think about hotels like that, it did make it through some tough times, and obviously, thankfully so.
Yes, it did.
Thankfully so.
Well, I think maybe from 1930-something to 73, I can't now remember exactly when it was torn down.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad. I was not well, and so I couldn't come down for the last things we bought, and so I didn't see them actually tear it down.
That's
I did,
so your memories are very vivid of the facility itself.
And very vivid of Myrtle Beach. I was 6 years old when a friend of my mother's came and said, I'm taking Ann to Myrtle Beach so she can see the ocean for the first time.
Wow. And there are still folks, Ann, who've never seen the ocean. There are folks who come down to the beach for the first time still. Folks throughout the county or throughout the PD.
It's the truth.
Who live this close to the ocean but have never driven down. There really are.
Yeah. Did you hear the story about the old mountaineer from Tennessee that came down? His daughter brought him down.
No.
And he just sat there and looked, you know. And finally the daughter said, well, Papa, what do you think it looks like? And he said, it looks like a big old mountain. He'd been in the mountains all his life. So he said it looked like a big old mountain, you know. But anyway, you know, it's a wonderful area, Greg, and it's a wonderful state. You know, I haven't traveled a lot, but I have traveled some. And they're beautiful places. But this is home, and I really would if I had a choice.
Well, you were a big cheerleader for the state. We ought to get you in touch with the Parks, Recreation, and Tourism Department.
Yes,
Chad Prosser and that crew to introduce you as a big cheerleader.
Well,
for the state.
And I've been cheering a long time.
I bet the Florence Area Chamber of Commerce, or the Marion Chamber, even the Myrtle's Inlet area, the Myrtle Beach Area Chamber of Commerce would love somebody like you.
Well, you can't believe. Do you know that one day I was sitting behind those big windows, the Ocean Forest windows, and I was having breakfast, and I looked out and I said, those are two of the biggest dogs I have ever seen. Do you know they were deer?
No.
They had come up that
in
close.
Your backyard,
yes. Well, I'm in some woods.
Right.
I'm right in the middle of Florence, but I'm in some woods.
Wow.
And I called the wildlife people.
Yeah.
And he came, and he said that the deer were making homes behind this restaurant that was down the street. And he said, do you know what have you heard the rumor, Ms. Powell? And I said, no. He said, the deer heard that it was unlawful to shoot a gun in the city limits, so they've moved in and left the hunters out in the country.
Everyone's got a sense of we're running out of time, Ann. Just real quick, 11 a.m. this Saturday.
Yes.
What are folks going to they're really going to experience a memorable
ceremony? No, it's May the 10th.
May 10th.
Yes.
This Saturday, May 10th. So what are folks going to experience?
Well, they're going to experience reliving the past for a little while, for an hour, and remembering the names. They call out the names that are in the cemetery, and a good inspiring speech, and just reminiscing about and not forgetting what it was a sacrifice. It was a big sacrifice, and so that's what we try to recreate.
71,000.
Yeah.
71,000.
Yeah, and 20,000 dead. More than any other war. And
thanks so much for being with us
Thank
this
you
morning.
for having
Thanks
me.
for the
Thank you for
celebration.
having me.
Good luck this weekend.
Good way to start a morning.
Absolutely. Great way to kick off Wednesday. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Ann Powell of the United Daughters of the Confederacy. Coming up next. Why should you be involved in helping to observe Confederate Memorial Day this Saturday at Mount Hope Cemetery there in Florence? You heard Ann share it, the heritage, the investment of time, but also all those incredible volunteers. 71,000 South Carolinians volunteering for the Confederacy. 71,000, but you heard her share that start number, 20,000 lives lost. 20,000. That's the reason to get out there to observe Confederate Memorial Day this Saturday, 11 a.m., Mount Hope Cemetery in Florence. If you're traveling up from the beach or coming in from Marion, follow 76 to Dargan Street. Take a left, follow it till it dead ends right there at Mount Hope Cemetery in Florence. Take the time, 11 a.m., get out there this Saturday, be a part of it. As Ann wanted to share before we ran out of time, this very special quote, "No nation can long survive without pride in its tradition." And tradition's very special to a lot of folks. Get out there this Saturday, 11 a.m., to help celebrate the lives of so many of those amazing volunteers. Ann Powell, thanks so much for being with us.